child. Physical characteristics that differed from those of the father might be grounds for denial. Information that the wife had been unfaithful might also be grounds. That wasn't the case here. Nero picked up the child, signifying that he had accepted him as his progeny, and named him Tiberius Claudius Nero. The boy would be called the Younger. Nero carried the boy into the bedroom and gently placed him in Livia's arms. "Thank you for giving me a son," he said. Livia nodded and tried to smile. The next morning, Nero went back to the Temple of Jupiter to pray again and to make another sacrifice. He was grateful that his son was healthy and that Livia had survived, but now he prayed for peace and for guidance. The guidance he asked for regarded the civil war. He was unsure whether to align himself with the Caesarian faction led by the trio of Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, Mark Antony, Caesar's right-hand man, and Marcus Lepidus, Caesar's longtime ally, or whether he should align himself with a senatorial faction that had supported Marcus Junius Brutus and Quintus Longinus Cassius, the assassins of Caesar, the so-called liberators. This was a dilemma with life-and-death consequences. The events leading up to his quandary began with the assassination of Caesar, and the revelation that Caesar had adopted his 18-year-old grandnephew Octavian as his son, leaving 3/4 of his estate to him. Octavian took the formal name Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus, and using Caesar's name and money, recruited a private army with the intention of seizing power and avenging his adoptive father's murder. In August 43 BC, Octavian encamped his army on the Campus Martius outside the walls of Rome, and sent armed centurions into the Senate to demand that he be allowed to run for consul, Rome's highest executive office. The Senate capitulated. Octavian was elected consul, making him, at 19, the youngest in history. In October 43 BC, Octavian, Mark Antony, and Lepidus formed a triumvirate under the authority of a law passed by the Citizens' Assembly. Their goals were, first, to avenge Caesar's death, and, second, to restore stability. They declared the assassination a crime, and appointed a tribunal to convict the assassins in absentia. Although the triumvirate appeared united, each member strove for preeminence. Octavian, to enhance his own position, convinced the Senate to declare Caesar a god. This done, it followed that Octavian was the son of a god, and the people apparently believed it. His star was rising, and many nobles rushed to attach themselves to him. One who didn't attach himself was Livia's father, Marcus Livius Drusus Claudianus, who was in Greece fighting on the side of the assassins. This was the dilemma Nero faced. If he didn't take the side of his father-in-law, Livia would surely divorce him. But the triumvirate was in the stronger position, and Nero couldn't decide. Time and events solved his problem. A month later, in October 42 BC, the armies of the triumvirate defeated the armies of Brutus and Cassius at the Battle of Philippi in Greece, an enormous battle on the north shore of the Aegean Sea, with perhaps 200,000 soldiers in the field. The armies had been evenly matched, 19 versus 17 legions, but Octavian and Antony's armies were quicker and more decisive. They were victorious, and Brutus and Cassius each committed suicide. The triumvirs showed no mercy to their beaten foes. They had the severed heads of Brutus and Cassius sent to Rome and thrown at the foot of Julius Caesar's statue in the Temple of Venice. After Philippi, Livia's father, with no exception of clemency, also committed suicide, falling on his own sword. Although that was terrible news for Livia, it made it easier for her husband Nero to side with the triumvirs, and he sent a message to them, saying that they had his full support and that he would provide troops and funds. The triumvirs divided the empire amongst themselves. Octavian took control of Italy and the west. Antony went to the east to reclaim the wealthiest provinces of the empire. Lepidus lost promises and was given control of North Africa, the least important province. To cement their ties, Octavian married Antony's teenage stepdaughter, Clodia Pulchra. As important as the marriage was for Octavian's connection to Antony, it was more important for the connection to Clodia's mother.